Welcome to a brand new podcast brought to you by devotees of Sri Swami Vishwananda, coming to you once a week from Bellingham, Washington, on the beautiful Pacific Northwest coast. We want to welcome all our listeners from the Bhakti Marga North American communities and the world. This is our little contribution to bringing our brothers and sisters all a little closer together.
Om Ajnanatim Mirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasme Shri Gurave Namaha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Ya Kundendu Tusarahara Davala Ya Subravastra Vrita Ya Vinavara Danda Mandita Kara Ya Shveta Padmasana Ya Brahmachuta Shankara Prabhiti Bir Deve Sada Vandita Samam Patu Sarasvati Bhagavati Buddhi Pradam Sharade Buddhi Pradam Sharade.
Jai Gurudev, we're reading the story of Matsya Avatar, which appears in the Srimad Bhagavatam, coming in about halfway through, where Sukadev is relating the stories to King Parikshit. And it begins. Parikshit then asked Suka to relate to him in detail the Matsya Avatar of the Lord. Suka said, "Whenever there is harm threatening the cows, the Brahmins, the Devas, or the good men, when there is a fear of destruction for Dharma or the Vedas or the world itself, the Lord then descends to the earth to protect them. At the end of the previous kalpa, Brahma went to sleep, and the world became submerged under the waters. When Brahma was sleeping, an asura by the name of Hayagrava stole the Vedas from him. The asura then disappeared under the waters with the Vedas. The deluge, called Mahapralaya, was Namitika, and it was as a consequence of this pralaya that the world became completely submerged in the oceans. There was at that time a king by the name of Satyavrata who ruled the world. He was a saint among men, a great devotee of Narayan. At the end of the pralaya, when the world was recreated, King Satyavrata was born as the son of Vivashvat, one of the 12 Adityas. And the Manvantara was called by the name Vaivashvata Manvantara. Shradadeva was the name that he was given then. One day, Satyavrata was performing his morning ablutions on the banks of the river Kritimala. When he had taken up the water in his cupped palms to offer arghya to the Pitris, he found a tiny fish in the water that he held in his hands. He promptly dropped the fish into the river. The fish spoke in a human voice and said, "O king, have pity on me. I am so small, and I am afraid of the bigger fish in the river, the big fish which threaten to eat me up. Please take me away from these waters and protect me." The king was touched by the appeal in the voice of the fish, and taking it up into his hand, he dropped it into his kamandalu, and he went home. One night passed, and the next morning the fish said, "There is not enough space for me inside this vessel. Please place me into a wider place where I can move more freely." The king placed it in a larger pot filled with water, and within an hour the fish had outgrown that pot too. Satyavrata then placed it in a pond, and the same thing happened. The fish complained that there was not enough space for it. The king kept on placing it in larger and larger areas filled with water, and yet the fish complained in the same way each time, that it did not have enough space to move around. The king finally took it to the sea and dropped it there. The fish said, "The sea is full of sharks and whales which will surely eat me up. Why did you bring me here?" Satyavrata smiled slightly and said, "You are a very strange fish. You can grow larger than a pond, which is 100 miles in length, and this has happened in an hour. I have never seen such a thing before. You are no ordinary fish. I know who you are. You are Lord Narayan, who has donned this form for some purpose which is not known to me. O Lord of Lords, I salute you. You are the refuge of all beings. When you take up a form, it is surely to protect helpless beings like myself. Since you have revealed yourself to me, please tell me why you have assumed this form. The Lord, in the form of a fish, then spoke to him, and he said, You are right. I have taken this form with a purpose. 7 days from today, the 3 worlds will be submerged under the waters. Mahapralaya is coming. When the world goes completely under, you will see a boat which will be floating towards you. Be on the lookout for it. When you see it, you will have to enter it. Collect all the oshadis, the seeds, and accompanied by the rishis, the 7 rishis, take your place in the boat. There will be a dead darkness all around, but the glow of the tejas emanating from the rishis will guide you. You will be tossed hither and thither by the giant waves of an angry ocean, but do not be afraid. I will be in the waters. When you see me, tie the boat to one of my horns with the help of Vasuki, who will serve you as a rope. I will play to my heart's content on the ocean for the duration of a single Brahma's night, and you will also be with me. The fish then vanished from the sight of the king. Satyavrata spread kusha grass on the ground and spent the next few days sitting on it and meditating incessantly on the Lord. On the 7th day he saw dark clouds enveloping the heavens, and the rains came. The earth was fast disappearing, and at a distance he saw the promised boat coming quickly towards him. As he had been instructed, he entered the boat with the oshadis and the seeds of all the many plants. The 7 rishis were also with him, and they were repeating the names of the Lord. And they said, Do not be afraid, O king. The Lord's name will tide us over during this perilous journey. They were all singing the praises of the Lord when they could discern the form of an immense fish, golden in color. It came near. As he had been instructed, Satyavrata tied the boat to the horn of the fish. The boat was tossed about by the waves, and yet they were not afraid, since the Lord had taken them beneath his wing. The king saluted the Lord and said, My Lord, it is with your grace that human beings who are tossed about in this world of ignorance attain salvation. You guide them into light out of darkness, and it is up to you to teach us the Atma Vidya, the knowledge which will make us realize ourselves as being one with you. Please teach me the secret of it. Teach me how to unravel the knots of ahamkara and mamamkara, which blind man into thinking that the maya which envelops him is true. Help us to break this veil to pieces and see ourselves as we really are, one with you. In his infinite kindness, the Lord took it upon himself to teach Brahma Vidya to Satyavrata. He taught him about jnana, bhakti, and karma yogas. During the play of the Lord in the waters, Narayan, in the form of a fish, fought with the asura Hayagrava and restored the Vedas to Brahma at the end of the Pralaya. Satyavrata was born as Shraddhadev, the son of the sun Vivashvat, and became the Manu for the Manvantara, which is Vaivashvata Manvantara. And this concludes the story of Matsya Avatar, the fish incarnation of the Lord Narayan, and the first of the Dasavatar. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please share it. Stay tuned for the next incarnation, Kurma Avatar, or the tortoise incarnation of Lord Narayan.